a lot more cars. Unlike places like Houston where they added lanes, nobody follows proper rules there, so they continue to sit in the left lane, even if it's 6.
He mentioned where I live. He mentioned where I live. I told y'all before. I told y'all where I live, it's the worst to drive. I mean, you can die switching lanes. It is. I gotta get to Europe. He mentioned where I live.
Yeah, I was ready, they didn't have my back. They were petty, I stayed in my bed. On that petty, I brought it right back.
This video got to be true at all aspects. I believe it. Oh, some of the worst things in America. And I believe number one is driving. Oh, who is giving out license at the DMV? I don't know who is giving out driver license to these people in America, y'all. Oh, it's like gonna get worse and worse every single day. I hate being in America for the simple fact that y'all can't drive. Oh, you can't drive. People don't pay attention. People on the phone. I seen some people ride with their feet out the window. Oh, I gotta get out of America. They be smoking that weed and marijuana while driving, drinking a 12-pack of beer. Yeah, people be riding around with 12 packs, 24 packs sometimes. Riding down the highway with a 24 pack. Yeah, killing people. Rest in peace to anybody that has lost anybody to a DUI driver, a drunk driver, somebody that wasn't paying attention. Rest in peace. My condolences go out to you. But we are the worst. So Europe, my Europeans, where we at? I love y'all. I already know driving is better down there. It has to be because we are the worst. Yeah. You could die switching lanes in Houston, Texas. Where I live in Houston, Texas, you can die switching lanes. I know it sounds scary to say that, but hey, man, but we got an amazing video today. Today, I'm reacting to why driving in Europe is better than America. And Americans' perspective as well. Oh, yeah. I believe this person actually is an American that live in the Netherlands. I believe. I think that's what I read in the description. Let me see. Yeah. I am an American who has been living in the Netherlands for the past 2 years. That driving in Europe and European drivers are way better than America. I love driving, and I especially love driving in Europe. Hopefully this video explains why. Let's check it out. I had to get it out, y'all. I had to burp for a second, but it canceled on me. Let's get into it. Hey. And also this video was one of the family members told me to look this video up and do a video on it. And shout out to all the people that missed my American Reacts. I am bringing the American Reacts section back to the channel. I know I've been gone from the scene for quite a while, but I am going to get more consistent on my American Reacts, man. I promise y'all.
I love driving, and I especially love driving in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
I've been living in Europe for about 2 years now, originally from Orlando, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
I've lived in Amsterdam for about 2 years now. Amsterdam isn't exactly a car place, but I've always been a car person, and I've always loved driving. What I like about living in Europe is that European drivers are excellent, especially compared to American drivers.
Wow. And I also heard from a CDL driver that's actually getting pretty popular on the platform. He says in his top 3 worst cities to drive in America, to drive his truck through, what's the worst state is actually Florida. And this American's perspective, this guy is from Florida. You know, he lived in Florida. So, hey, man, I'm trying to tell you, come down here to Houston, though. Come down here to Houston.
I was inspired for this video after watching a video by Tedward, which I'll link in the description below. In his video, he was explaining why Americans don't use a 3-lane highway correctly. And it got me thinking how much I appreciate driving in Europe. European drivers are some of the best I've seen.
I think I want to react. I might react to that video. I'm actually interested in that video as well.
And I think some of the best in the world. And I'm hoping to explain why I believe so in this video. Now, I haven't done any research. This is just my experience. So if I'm wrong about anything, please correct me in the comments. This is just my perspective. Having lived in Europe for 2 years, having driven mostly around Western European countries, such as Netherlands, Switzerland, France, Germany, UK, and in the US, I primarily have driven in Florida. So Florida's not exactly known for the best drivers, especially we get a lot of tourists who don't know how to drive in the US, and a lot of elderly folks, and just people who don't know the right rules of the road. So that's my benchmark. That's what I'm comparing against. One of the main reasons I think European drivers are better is just driving in general is a privilege. So if you look at most European places, most European cities, you don't need a car. You don't need to drive anywhere. Public transportation is well established. You can use a train, a metro, a tram to get pretty much anywhere you need to go.
Wow.
You can use public transportation to get pretty much anywhere. So you don't really need to drive. Only if you live in more suburban parts of Europe, but even then public transportation is still available.
Okay.
So Europeans don't have to drive. They want to drive. And because they want to drive, they put more effort into it. On top of that, getting a driver's license in most European countries is a much more involved and expensive process. For example, in the Netherlands, getting a driver's license can cost a couple €1,000 because you have to do mandatory driving lessons.
Dang.
On top of that, the age to get a driver's license is much older than most states in the US.
Makes sense.
So I believe in the Netherlands, you can start learning to drive around 16 and a half years old. That's when you do your theory test, and then you start doing driving lessons. You don't have a full driver's license without restrictions until you're 18 years old. Compared to Florida, where I'm from, you start driving at 15. You get
See, and I was driving at 14. With a permit. I was riding to school with my permit. I was, But I was 14, I was 15, I think. But man, I was riding a year with my permit, man, before I even got my license. Yeah, y'all. Yeah.
You do your theory test and you start driving at 15.
Y'all comment down below when y'all started driving. Comment down below what age you started driving and where you're from. And if you're in America or if you're in over there in Europe, man, y'all comment down below y'all experiences, man.
And you only have to have a learner's permit for 1 year. And there's no mandatory driving lessons. Your parents can teach you how to drive. On top of that, the cost in general for driving is much lower. Cost of getting a driver's license is much lower in the US.
Yep.
And driving is kind of a necessity in a lot of parts of the United States, except for major metropolitan cities.
Yep.
You have to drive. So getting a driver's license is less of a privilege in the US and more of a necessity. So that distinction alone, I think, contributes to a lot of the differences that I'm going to point out. So getting a driver's license is a much more involved process, especially in countries like the Netherlands. In Germany, it also requires mandatory lessons. It costs a lot of money. So when they invest that much into getting a driver's license, they don't want to lose it. They learn to drive properly. They learn the right rules of the road. They don't want to do anything to jeopardize that, and they drive accordingly. You can see here in this example, I'm just outside of Amsterdam. There's nobody cruising in the left lane. I'm driving at 5:30 in the afternoon right now. Nobody is cruising in the left lane. The left lane is only for passing.
Yeah, and everybody in them down here, grandma's in the left lane going 20 miles per hour. The speed limit is 65. The speed limit is 65 in the left lane, and y'all is going 20 miles per hour. Just drive the car. I mean, it's for passing. Like get over, get over. And then the worst part about it, then they be on the phone. Oh, then they be on the phone, talking on the phone, FaceTiming, texting while driving.
You can see how people use the lanes. They're very well disciplined. And that's a common theme. They're well-disciplined drivers.
I had to go to Europe.
This goes back to how they learn to drive. They have to take mandatory lessons. Their parents aren't teaching them to drive. Their parents aren't passing on bad habits about driving. They're learning the proper rules of the road. They're executing them while they learn to drive. So even though you take a theory test in the US on what the rules of the road are, you don't really remember that. You remember what you learned while you were learning to drive.
Yep.
And oftentimes that's from what your parents taught you. And that's not the case in Europe. You'll see here the highway just widened up and people immediately start moving to the right. Not everybody, but most people do. Nobody's fighting, nobody's rushing. They're just following the rules. They're well disciplined.
Well,
don't get me wrong, not everybody follows every rule. You can see there are some more aggressive drivers sometimes, but it's not the norm. And even the more aggressive ones tend to get on their way, get out of the way. They're not messing with anybody. They're not pissing anybody off. There's no real road rage. So discipline is one of the...
Yeah, and down here where we live, somebody has died almost every 30 seconds to a minute due to just crazy driving conditions, road rage, or just not disciplined, man. I mean, this is terrible down here, man. I hate getting them Amber Alerts on my phone that on Highway 90, we have one deceased on Highway 90. I didn't even know they send out Amber Alerts. They just started sending out Amber Alerts over here to when people die on the highway, man, due to these people that are rushing and driving and road raging and all kind of stuff, man. It's crazy, man.
One of those key important attributes. The next thing is the roads in general. The roads are well maintained. I'm going off of what I've seen in the Netherlands and Germany. Not every European country has the same privilege. I've seen some pretty poor roads in countries like Belgium.
We got potholes everywhere over here, boy.
And even I've heard in Italy roads aren't as nice. But you can see here the highway is well maintained. There are no potholes. It's quite wide, and people use the lanes correctly. So even though there's a lot of lanes, it allows for a lot of capacity because people actually follow the rules of the road. They stay to the right, they only pass on the left, they pass and then they get back over. And that's the general way it works here. So when they add more lanes, when the highway is wider, it allows for much more free-flowing traffic, a lot more capacity, a lot more cars. Unlike places like Houston where they added lanes, nobody follows proper rules there, so they continue to sit in the left lane, even if it's 6.
He mentioned where I live. I told y'all before. Where I live, it's the worst to drive. I mean, you can die switching lanes. It is. I gotta get to Europe. He mentioned where I live. And mind you, what I do, especially having a transportation business and taking care of disabled vets, people that are sick, taking people here, doing all kind of stuff, people that can't drive anymore, take all the stuff that I do. I risk my life almost every day, y'all. I risk my life almost every day. And he mentioned where it is really worse at. Nobody follows rules. Nobody cares for one another. Everybody is selfish. You have to compete and race people to get in the next lane. Let me say it again. You have to race and compete with somebody to get in the next lane. Like nobody says, "Oh, buddy, get over." Get over, buddy. Go on past, get over. You have to compete. You have to die. It's ridiculous, man. You should see, I mean, the average person living in Houston, I know they honk their horn. Oh, y'all honk y'all horn about 20 to 30 times to 100 times in 1 week. Not even 1 week, probably 4 days average. In a month, you probably honked your horn about 300-500 times. Yeah.
16 lanes wide, and it doesn't help the traffic situation at all. In this area, this is a speed controlled area, so it's actually controlled by average speed cameras. I'll deep dive into that in a separate video, but the Netherlands has some of the strictest speed laws in Europe. Talking about the rules of the road, when you look at truckers, they also follow the rules very strictly in Europe.
Man, even our truckers,
they're almost always all the way to the right.
Bro, even our truckers don't follow the rules down here where I live. The truckers don't.
They rarely are passing. There are zones where they're not allowed to pass. They're rarely in the left lane. They're rarely passing. When they do pass, they get back over to the right lane immediately. There's less clogging of traffic. So discipline, learning the rules of the road, following them, these are important themes. The process to get a driver's license is much more involved, much more strict. Another thing with driving in Europe, in my opinion, the cars are much more solid. They're much more roadworthy. You have vehicle inspections, so people can't drive old beat up cars. You have to have your vehicle inspected ever so often, depending on the age of the vehicle.
We riding that hoopty, man. Grandma ain't changed the oil in the car. Yeah, the 2 of the tires in the back are low. The tire light is on. The check engine light is on. We riding though. Yeah, especially in Houston, we ride. As long as the car can, as long as the motor and the transmission work, and at least there's a little bit of air in all 4 tires, we ride. We ride. All my Americans that's watching this video, you know, we riding. We riding that hoopty. We riding. Oh, we riding. Oh, windshield cracked. Don't matter. Oh, back tail lights and busted, cracked. We ride without, we can knock our whole review mirror off. I mean, I've seen people ride past me with no review mirror. Yeah, we riding. You could have got into a huge car accident. Oh, we ride. As long as the car can get put in, the transmission and motor still work, we ride. Yeah. I seen people ride with the door slammed in, the hood then fell off the car. I'm talking about they riding with low PSI pressure. I said, lady, your tire is very low on your left rear. You might need to pull over and go get your air. You put some air in your tire. She says, oh baby, it's fine. Oh man, I hate it here in Houston, man. It's ridiculous.
Either once a year or once every few years. There's rules about what the vehicle can or can't have equipped on it. It has to pass inspection for you to keep driving it on the road. So the roadworthiness of vehicles is also better. And some states have this. Florida in particular doesn't have this. So you see people driving on the highway with rickety vehicles that are falling apart. They've gotten into an accident and they haven't fixed the vehicle. It's a road hazard, in my opinion.
Yeah, they still
That doesn't happen here.
We still
People
riding.
maintain their cars well in the first place. They have to maintain them well because
wow, I gotta go to Europe, man. I'm telling y'all, it's so beat up down here, man. And you know, I can't bash nobody because sometimes times get hard. The money is not there. What you're getting paid is not there, so you have to struggle a little bit and ride that car until you can save up money to pay what you got to pay. So I'm not gonna sit here and bash nobody, man, but I am gonna sit here and have a good joke and a good laugh. But you know, more of the story is, man, it's real life, man. And I love his perspective, I really do, you know. But we down here, we just don't care, man. And sometimes there is situations where people do have, you know, the money and can get stuff done and get their car fixed and can, you know, do the simple things, but they still don't do it down here. Yeah. I feel like us down here, we really don't care. We're reckless. We're not disciplined. It's actually sad, you know. It's sad, man.
to keep driving them on the road, they have to pass the inspections. Germany has some of the strictest inspection laws. You can see many videos on YouTube about passing the TÜV inspection. I haven't had to go through this personally in the Netherlands, but I do know that inspections are required. I haven't seen any poorly maintained vehicles on the road. And because of this, because of the discipline, because of the roadworthiness of the vehicles, generally Europe has higher speed limits. The Netherlands used to have a national speed limit on the highway of 130 kilometers an hour, which equates to 81 miles per hour. People used to drive faster than that. Recently, as of March of 2020, there's a national speed limit of 100 kilometers an hour until 7 p.m. Some roads are still 100 kilometers per hour in general. I'll do a separate deep dive into that in another video about the Netherlands. But in general, countries like Germany or France, the highest speed limit you'll see on suburban highways is 130 kilometers an hour. And people drive faster than that. You can easily drive 140 kilometers an hour without any issue. And again, if everybody follows these rules of the road, driving that fast, even on narrow highways, isn't an issue. You can also see in the Autobahn, people driving much faster than that. It's a 2-lane highway, yet there's very little accidents. And that goes back to the discipline of following the rules of the road. People keep to the right. Even if somebody is driving faster than you, it's completely safe. I'll have to do another video about the Autobahn because that's a whole experience in and of itself. As an American, I truly love and appreciate the Autobahn, and I wish that America had that privilege. But
I hope one day I get to experience the Autobahn, man. I did a video on that a while back. Hopefully one day I get to experience it, man.
Honestly, the drivers don't deserve it. Another reason driving in Europe is so much better, again, going back to the discipline, you'll see this as a common theme. There's very little distracted driving. People are focused on driving while they're driving. They're not on their phones. They're not eating. They're not really drinking coffee. They're not reading a book.
You should see Miss what's her name? Miss Karen on the way to work in the morning. You should see Miss Karen stuffing that sausage egg McMuffin down with that white chocolate mocha. That hot coffee in the morning with them donuts and stuffing that kolache down the throat. Driving on the tollway and the freeway and the highway, not paying attention. And then on the phone eating at the same time. I mean, I don't know. And then some women and even men, they use their knees and legs to steer the steering wheel from the bottom of the steering wheel. Yeah, I've learned how to do it before, and they eat and talk on the phone, and I always tell you the truth.
They're not doing all of these crazy things you see people in America do while they drive. They're focused on driving. And they have to be focused on driving. You're not allowed to be using your phone. You're not allowed to be eating while you're driving. You're not allowed to be doing anything but driving while you're driving. In fact, in the Netherlands, they started rolling out a system where there are cameras over the highways that will look at cars and take pictures. If you're caught driving while you're on your phone or doing something while you're distracted while you're driving, they'll actually mail you a ticket. So they're very strict about enforcing no distracted driving, and people follow it. People focus on driving. And when you focus on driving and you have drivers that are focused on driving,
I'm shocked to hear that, but that is amazing though. That is amazing.
You can have much more freedom and much more driving enjoyment. So distracted driving isn't really a thing here, and it's really well enforced. I think that helps contribute to some of the driving characteristics of some of the roads. People are much more focused. So there aren't really distractions while you're driving. You're focused on driving, you're paying attention, and this is part of the reason why there are some things you really need to pay attention to while you're driving in Europe. Things like roundabouts, things like speed humps, things like pedestrian zones, bicycle lanes, trams, buses, horses that are allowed to be in traffic, a lot of different things that you need to pay attention to, and that's why you really need to pay attention while you're driving. And Europeans do in general. Now, as an American driving in Europe, I am guilty of carrying over some of my bad habits about distracted driving. But when I need to pay attention, I pay attention. And I've always thought of that in the US as well. I pay attention while I'm driving. I focus on driving. I get pleasure out of that. And that's the norm here in Europe. You drive when you're driving. You're not doing anything else. It's not a time when you're, catching up on emails or reading a book or eating your lunch. You can see here, this is one of these roads that's almost one car width wide. It shares a bicycle lane, and this is a bi-directional road. You really have to pay attention here. You have to mind the space.
Yeah, we don't have no roads like that. We have but it has like a line in the middle, but we do have like one-way roads that are going both directions, but Wow, I've never seen like that kind of like just it looks like just one lane though. But you know, it's sharing like a bicycle lane. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you do have to pay attention. Like, but we down here in America, oh, it'd been everybody would have crashed on that road right there. Yeah,
Cars.
Once you click this video, you'll be taken to uscca.com/maps.
everybody
From
would.
here, you can click on any
Everybody
Coming
would
in the
crash
other
on that road
direction,
right
you
there,
have
boy.
to squeeze to the right and make sure there's enough space. But when the road is empty like this, you can enjoy it. One difference with Europe, generally people don't use cars to commute. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people that do commute to work by car in Europe and European cities, but in general, cost of parking is very expensive. Fuel is very expensive. People don't use a car to commute if they don't have to. So people will often defer to public transportation to get to work. So people aren't driving regularly as much as they do in the US. So usually when they're driving, it's for pleasure, not so much necessity. Of course, it's maybe necessity to go somewhere, but they're focused on driving while they're doing it. It's not part of their morning commute. And this is generally speaking, this is my take. It's not scientific, of course.
Yeah.
I like that I can choose to drive when I want to drive. I can enjoy driving. I'm lucky that I live in Amsterdam. I don't have to commute. I don't have to commute by car. Another thing I've noticed is when people are towing something or carrying cargo, it's well secured. It's covered with a net. Things don't fly out.
Yeah, you drive it. I'm saying drive in Houston. Them, especially my shout out to my Mexicans. Shout out to my Latinas. Oh, them some hardworking people, man, but they don't strap nothing down on them trailers, nothing on the trucks, the pickup trucks. I'm talking about stuff just flying. And I've actually caught this on my dash cam. A huge chair just flies off this guy's truck in the second lane next to me, man, on the freaking freeway. Oh man, I've seen, and some of them have the paint. It be paint all on the road for weeks, months, because somebody they didn't strap the stuff down. I'm talking about it's debris everywhere. Mattresses be all on the highway. Oh, if you from America, you know what I'm talking about. You see it every day if you drive. You see it every day. I mean, stuff fly out the truck. All kind of it be stuff all in the middle of the road. I mean, just making it dangerous and more of a hazard.
Out of trucks, things don't fly out of trailers. People, when they're towing something or when they're carrying something or hauling something, they're staying to the right, they're driving in the slower lane, they're not passing anybody, they're not driving erratically. I remember regularly seeing in Florida landscaping trucks with trailers with things that are just bouncing around, flying around, things that could fly off of the trailer in any second.
Yeah.
And those guys are driving 80-something miles an hour in the passing lane, passing cars, driving erratically. That just doesn't happen here. When you consider some of the points that I've mentioned, driving in Europe is overall safer. If people follow the rules, it makes for a safer experience for cars, for pedestrians, for cyclists. It also makes for a better driving experience as a driver. And that's why I love driving in Europe.
That's amazing.
After a long road trip, I don't feel exhausted. I don't feel like I was dealing with a lot of bad drivers. I don't feel like I was dealing with a lot of people sitting in the left lane. I don't feel that fatigue that you feel when you drive in America. I actually feel quite relaxed while I drive. And it's because there's similar people like me driving, people who want to drive, people who enjoy driving, people who pay attention while they're driving. So I feel like I'm sharing the road with a lot of like-minded individuals. I also feel like driving in Europe, I've become a better driver. I've learned things that I didn't learn in America. Roundabouts, for example. Dealing with cyclists regularly. Like I said, this is my personal experience. It's definitely not fact. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching.
That was an amazing video. That was an amazing video, man. That was a great perspective. Hey, man, I got to get to Europe, man. I got to get out of America. I got to get out of America. I got to get out of Houston, Texas. I got to get out, man. Thank y'all for checking out today's video. Be sure to like, comment down below. Let me know y'all like driving experience. Let me know what y'all have y'all experienced where you live. How's driving down there for you if you live in America or if you live all the way over there in Europe. Comment down below, man. I love y'all. And hey, man, peace and love, y'all.